Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button so you do not miss a day of coverage of the Local 53 as we are just 6 days away from the NFL Draft. We're going to get into and continue our draft look in a couple of minutes. Today we are looking at linebackers, but first, want to start with some more on the stadium. Stadium news, I think, is going to be a good deal ultimately for the Commanders. Now, you remember all this broke on Wednesday of this week. WRC, NBC4 in Washington was the first one to report it. And I was going back over the story here over the course of the last few days, and there are some things in the report that Mark Seagraves broke that I think really are really good things for taxpayers in the DMV. And one of the reasons I think this thing is going to go through, I hope, pretty easily. First, obviously, and we talked about this yesterday, but the fact that Josh Harris and his partners are going to be putting up $2.5 billion of the $3 to $3.5 billion that this thing is going to cost. Now, that's really good news because from a PR standpoint, what's been the big bugaboo with so many of these stadium deals lately? It's the fact that cities and states are kicking in so much public money for billionaires to build these complexes. Well, that's not going to happen here. Harris and his partners are going to put up the majority of the cash for this thing. Second, and again, remember, it's not just the stadium they're building, it's a whole development. It's going to look like the Navy Yard, what that looks like now, and it's going to be huge for this undeveloped piece of land on the Anacostia. The second thing that I think is good for the district is the fact that the most city's going to have to contribute is $850 million. And listen to how it's broken down. They're going to have to come up with $500 million of it. No, I'm sorry. They're going to have to come up with $500 million of it. Sorry, these facts and figures. $500 million paid out in the first 4 years of this project between 2026 and 2030. Okay, so you're talking $125 million a year. I know that's serious money, but it's not something that's unreasonable and unrealistic. It's going to be easy for the city to get that, relatively speaking, into the budget. And the rest, the other 300 or so million, would come from taxes generated by the site. And the site will be fully operational by then, according to, what everybody says. And you have to take it with their word on that. If that's the case, I think the risk for the city is far, far, far outweighed by the reward on this thing. So I think you're going to see this go through. I think you're going to see this go through relatively quickly. From what everybody's been saying, both the mayor's office and the team actually wanted to make an announcement on this maybe a couple of weeks ago, but budget cuts from the federal government have prevented that still. It looks like they've got this thing pretty well worked out. Yet another instance of Josh Harris doing the right things at the right time to get this done. It's going to be exciting. It really is. Can't wait to see the new RFK. It's going to be insane. All right, let's go on with the draft look. Again, we are 6 days away from it now as we record this, and today we're looking at linebackers. Now, I know this is probably not a high priority for the front office. Bobby Wagner's back, Frankie Luvu's back. You've got some young, intriguing prospects that have joined the organization in the last couple of years. But again, you can never not worry about the future. This probably is Wagner's last ride, and if somebody presents themselves in the right situation in the draft, the Commanders would be in a position to take somebody, perhaps. Again, having your franchise quarterback makes so many things so much more flexible. So the first one I want to, and as always, we're going to look at somebody, maybe they take early, maybe they take mid, and maybe they take late. So the first one I want to look at is Jalen Walker from Georgia. He's ranked 24 on PFF's big board. So again, a little bit of a stretch, and I don't think he's going to be there at 29 because there are plenty of teams that need help. But if he is available, what do you think? Physically, athletically, very, very gifted. Anticipation, his pass rush profile, all of it looks good. He's a natural pass rusher off the edge. He's got the size to play either inside or outside linebacker. A very explosive first step. powerful upper body, long arms. Doesn't have a lot of experience or success in coverage. So again, does that, we've seen that rear its ugly head and bite this team in the butt the last few years. Think, Jamin Davis. They also say he lacks a true mastery of pass rush moves and hand usage due to time, split off and on the ball. So, again, there are some cons, but he's still ranked, he's still the 24th best player on the board, according to a lot of people, or top 25. If you get a guy with a first round grade that slips to 29, do you think about taking him? It'll be interesting to see. I still think, that linebacker would not be the way to go that early in the draft, but we will wait and see. All right, how about Carson Swenginger, if I have pronounced his name right, and between us, probably didn't. They say he has elite processing speed, great intelligence. All of this gives him starter impact, either at the mic or the will for a 4-3 defense. Now, again, they don't need a starter right now. And he's a little bit undersized. Playing at 225 pounds last season, weighed 242 at the combine, plays like he weighs about 240 according to, what I've read and what I've seen. But I did watch some of his tape, and he gives defenses everything he has on his snaps. He's got a fast motor. It seems like he is the kind of a guy that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. would like to coach. He went to UCLA. Didn't mention that. Pursuit speed, they say it's adequate for the NFL level. Not great, but adequate. Vision of the ball carrier, the top tier. Quickness, processing. Again, he's a guy that's got that really high football IQ. So if he's a little bit slower than some of the other guys in the draft, the fact that he is as good as he is processing things gets him to the ball that much better. He's got a rank of 53 on PFF. So again, somewhere there in the first round. So if he's there in the second round and you really love what you got in round one, say you got your edge rusher. And again, this is assuming they don't trade out of the first round to get some more second round picks. But if you really, really like who you get in round one, and this guy falls to you in round two, again, there's a guy you might say, I think we need to pull the trigger on this. He might not be as big an impact as somebody else in 25, but he's great depth, and he can slide right into a starter spot when Bobby Wagner retires, and you don't miss a beat. So a guy to keep your eye on. All right. Finally, Demetrius Knight. Again, another intriguing prospect. This is a guy who is going to be probably more of a day 2 or day 3 player as well. Pretty much the same spot that you would be drafting Carson in. So even though linebacker, not a real deep class, if he's around in the second round, here's a guy that, maybe you look at. It's one of the older prospects in the draft, and I think it appears the Commanders like that, somebody that's played a lot of football. They say he is close to a finished product. So you talk about somebody that can come in and play right away. And again, another one of those guys that has a high football IQ. Went to South Carolina. Adequate size for playing off-ball linebacker. Loves the physical aspects of it. Has that great motor and that high football IQ, and a good athlete for the position. Explosive first step, great top speed. And again, the only knocks on him, he's a little over aggressive. I think that could be a good thing. And being one of the oldest prospects in the class, hey, if you're talking about a guy that maybe can give you 5, 10, 12 years, who cares? So take a look, keep your eye on those three guys. If, and I don't think they will, but if the Commanders decide to go linebacker at some point in the first day and a half of the draft. Really don't think that they'd look at somebody in the first round, but then again, you never know, and we'll find out next Thursday. It's going to do it for us. Again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Join us every day for the latest on your local 53. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend. And like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.